Get the tissues ready. A truly great film can do a lot to you. Make you laugh, cry, laugh until you cry. And although we may fight back the tears, some films just win the battle. I'm your host, Nostalgic Nick, and these are the biggest tearjerker movies of the 1970s. If you enjoy this countdown, please give us a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to avoid missing future episodes. But for now, I really should be quiet because the movie's starting. Okay. Kramer vs. Kramer.
I'd like to know, what law is it that says that a woman is a better parent simply by virtue of her sex?
We all know marriage isn't easy, but divorce, that's a lot harder. Kramer vs. Kramer deals with the grueling custody battle between two recently divorced partners. In one of the film's more tearful scenes, Joanna Kramer, played by the masterful Meryl Streep, sends her son Billy a letter explaining why she left home and won't be coming back. And Ted Kramer, played by Dustin Hoffman, reads the letter aloud to his son. Ouch. This 5-time Oscar-winning movie, elevated by some of the greatest performances you'll ever see, is the pinnacle of super depressing 70s movies. Only a couple months before shooting the film, Meryl Streep lost her husband, John Cazale, to cancer. John was most famous for his role as Fredo in the Godfather series. Co-star Dustin Hoffman believed that it was this incredibly painful loss that pushed her to win her first of many Oscars. If you haven't seen this movie, as of this video's launch, it is free on Amazon Prime, so be sure to check it out. Watership Down, the first and only animated movie on the list. Watership Down is the story of a young rabbit named Fiver who has a vision that his village is in danger and goes on a quest to find a new home for his people. On the way, they encounter hunters, dogs, and other creatures that wish for nothing but their failure, and there's a lot of death along the way. One YouTube user created a video compilation of all the deaths in Watership Down. There's 62. That's more deaths than the Chucky and Halloween series combined. A pretty staggering number for a movie you could find in the kids section. As you can imagine, watching characters we resonated with die in tragic ways is a recipe for misery. Another sad but must watch on the list. A Star is Born.
The audience is gonna walk out anyway the sun's out.
Strike the sun and give her a pink spot.
You are crazy.
Now there have been 4 versions of A Star is Born. The original from 1937, a 1954 remake, this 1976 remake, and then the recent 2018 version with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. And while all these movies are great in their own right, nothing really captures the feeling of the 1976 version. Barbra Streisand and Kris Kristofferson star in this timeless musical romantic tragedy about a singer and a rock star whose careers are at an intersection, heading in opposite ways. Nothing quite compares to when Kris Kristofferson drives his Ferrari Daytona off the side of a country road, and Barbra Streisand must say her final goodbyes to her lover. The 1976 version is truly a movie of its era, blending 70s-era rock music with its Broadway-inspired origins. Kristofferson's look in the movie even has a shocking similarity to The Doors singer and guitarist Jim Morrison, which the actor fervently denied. But man, it's a rocking good time and a rocking sad time. Love story.
Hey, if you're so convinced I'm a loser, why did you bulldoze me into buying you coffee?
I like your body.
A go-to when people talk about sad 70s movies, Love Story's been parodied and referenced in shows and movies time and time again. It even had such a profound influence on American culture that according to the National Post, the top name of 1970 was Jennifer, after Ally McGraw's lead character. Love Story is the simple tale of a romance between a wealthy university student, Oliver, played by Ryan O'Neal, and a middle-class music major, Jennifer, which starts to crumble after Jennifer comes down with a debilitating illness. The movie holds number 13 of AFI's greatest movie quotes of all time. Love means, well, you know the one.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
This is a surefire tearjerker, and the chemistry of the actors roots the moment. Brian's song.
You might never play football again.
There's a wealth of sad football movies out there, like Radio, Remember the Titans, but none of them quite have the energy of 1971's TV movie Brian's Song. The true story of Brian Piccolo, a Chicago Bears running back who died at age 26 from an aggressive form of cancer. The movie focuses on a beautiful friendship between Brian and teammate Gale Sayers, who helped write Brian's autobiography, I Am Third. Even though this was a made-for-TV movie, it boasts some insane star power. The Godfather's James Caan plays Brian Piccolo, and Gale Sayers is portrayed by Billy D. Williams. is Lando Calrissian in the flesh, and boy does Billy D. Williams give such a remarkable performance. I specifically remember that moment where he gives his gut-wrenching acceptance speech at the awards ceremony in honor of his late friend.
But I say to you here now, Brian Piccolo is a man of courage.
According to a 2005 Entertainment Weekly poll, Brian's song is one of the top 10 guy cry films ever made. And trust me, you're gonna need to bring out the tissues for this one, folks. Being There. We recently put out a video of our top 70s cartoons, which you should definitely check out next. And at the top of the list is The Pink Panther Show, based off the Peter Sellers franchise. And there's no better movie boasting the late, great Peter Sellers than Being There, the 1979 dark satirical comedy about Chance, a not-so-intelligent gardener who stumbles his way into an advisory position for the President of the United States. While on the surface, Being There doesn't seem much like a sad movie, it's the complex and melancholy journey that Chance goes on that really takes its toll on your tear ducts, especially watching the childlike gardener experience the death of a very close friend. The ending is maybe one of the most talked about endings of a movie ever. You'll have to see it to believe it. Harold and Maude.
Barley was very big last week. 1,500.
Boy oh boy, what a sad movie. Harold and Maude, released in 1971, is the story of a friendship between Harold, a brooding teenager who has an obsession with death, and Maude, a 79-year-old woman who also shares Harold's strange obsession. Over time, their carefree and quirky friendship turns into a romance. But as certain truths come out about Maude's tortured past, Harold discovers that their relationship isn't built to last. The scene where Harold sees Maude's tattoo, numbers indicating that she was a survivor of a concentration camp, is a sobering and terrifying reminder of the Holocaust's long-term effects on people. It's a uniquely devastating and hilarious ride that urges its audience to not take life so seriously. It's that rare kind of sad movie that leaves you feeling good by the end of it. The Deer Hunter.
This is this. This ain't something else. This is this. From now on, you're on your own.
This one goes without saying, but Michael Cimino's Vietnam War epic is simply one of the most depressing movies ever made, in a good way. The Deer Hunter is about three friends who live in a small industrial town in the heartland of America. After being drafted into the war and thrown into horrific circumstances, the three friends emerge completely broken, with a new outlook on their lives. We all remember the Russian roulette scene, but next time you watch this classic, take another look at the final scene when they're all gathered around singing God Bless America. You'll never hear the song quite the same again. Walkabout. Walkabout is the coming-of-age story of two recently orphaned siblings, played by Logan's Run star Jenny Agutter and son of the director Luke Rogue, that wander around the Australian outback far from civilization, looking for any possible way to survive. Along the way, they befriend an Aboriginal boy in the desert. He teaches them survival skills and how to coexist in nature. It's hard to really nail down what makes this movie so great. It's very loose and experimental, but there's also an underlying sadness to it all. Mostly about how growing up too fast makes you forget some of the precious moments in life. If you like stunning visuals, this is a fantastic 70s Australian movie for you to check out. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, come on, you're not gonna say that now. You're not gonna say that now.
Similar to Deer Hunter, Cuckoo's Nest holds the distinguished honor of being one of the most tense and heartbreaking movies ever made. The movie is about Randall McMurphy, a patient at a mental institution who is brutalized and abused by the ruthless nurse Ratched. It's one of the films where you're clenching your fist the entire time, screaming in your head about how unfair and ridiculous the situation is. Jack Nicholson and Louise Fletcher's iconic performances as Randall McMurphy and Nurse Ratched elevated the film to be the first movie in 41 years to win all the Big Five Oscars. It remains one of the longest theatrical runs in movie history. It ran regularly in Swedish theaters until 1987, 11 years after its initial release. I guess Swedish people really like to cry. Well, there you have it. How many of these films have you seen? Did any of them make you cry? What sad 70s flick did we forget? Let us know down in the comments. We could always make a round 2. And if you enjoyed this tearful countdown, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel for even more throwback videos. From all of us here at Do You Remember, thanks for watching.